Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today I'm excited to bring you my top 10 pick for the best $1 games on sale right now for the Steam Summer Sale. Now, these games, the stipulation here is that they couldn't have been previously like $1 games that are discounted below even further. You know, it's not much of a discount, and I feel like that's a whole top 10 in itself, you know, just dollar games. But this is going to be games that were like, you know, $5 or even $10 that have been discounted so greatly that they are around $1. So this is going to be for, you know, just to fill out, you know, the rest of your budget. Or maybe you don't have much money at all that you want to spend. I don't know. Maybe you got a lot of games, but you still want to buy something. This is going to be the list for you. I got a lot of weird, crazy games. Of course, this whole list isn't going to be for everybody, but something somewhere in here is going to be for you. I think so. And if you find a game you like, well, give the video a like. Remember to click the bell for a tell whenever I go live with the streams, whenever I'm talking about Steam summer sales or just sales period or playing new games, stuff like that. And also whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for keeping the hype alive. Let's get into it. The introduction of our list will begin with a game called Stardust Vanguards. This is a very strange game, I think. It's actually inspired by the anime sort of space mech operas, you know, like Gundam, stuff like that. I think this game looks pretty freaking ridiculous. In fact, it actually has a little bit of PvE VP inside of it. It's 4-player party brawling, absolutely, but there's like this random event system that's also incorporated. You know, in between all the explosions and lasers and things, apparently there's an AI space pirate thing that actually kind of interrupts your duels and actually can even win the whole match. So yeah, it's supposed to be lightning fast, extremely explosive. There's a lot of AI that's thrown in there too. I don't know, it looks really ridiculous for under $1 at 79% off for 83 cents. This looks to be like a very interesting party game to try out. And now next we have the Airscape and Particle Mace full dev bundles. So what I really want to point out here is going to be Airscape, which is a really challenging sort of gravity platformer. I actually really enjoyed the coverage of Total Biscuit talking about this game. This is one of those games that it's so difficult that it actually didn't sell much. So if you like, you know, a tremendous amount of challenge, Airscape is one of those platformers that you can do so. It's 90% off at 50 cents or 49 cents there. And you can also buy Particle Mace at 90% off or $1. Now, Particle Mace is going to be similar to the IO game I covered called Brutal.io, but Particle Mace is a little bit more involved and it's a little bit more party game-ish. So for $1, you're going to have one of the weirdest, craziest top-down shooters, but it uses maces, so I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. Anyways, yeah, you're going to have one of the most unique experiences as well with Airscape, but you can get the full bundle for $1.27 there, and I would probably suggest that. And next up, we have a game called REFUNCT. Now, this was actually brought to my attention thanks to people on the stream, and I really appreciate when you guys actually, you know, communicate with me, talk to me. I mean, that's the point of the streams, right? You know, it's not just me talking to you, it's you talking to me, and we kind of share stuff, and that's what this is actually. REFUNCT was shared to me. It's 67% off for $1.98, and this seems like a super simple but freaking awesome idea, really cool concept. The idea is that there's like this sort of like moving platforms, and you kind of like it's just a platformer, like you're just jumping. It's a 3D platformer with just simple shapes, but you're jumping around and the levels kind of change as you're jumping through them. Now, I don't know how complicated, complex this game is going to be overall with its puzzling, with its platforming. All I know is that it looks really cool and it looks absolutely, definitely at least worth $1 to try out. Now, the next game I want to talk about is a game called Betrayer. Now, Betrayer, see, I'm not exactly sure how to really classify this. All I can really do is kind of just read off of the Steam page here. It says Betrayer is a first-person action adventure game. Whatever that means. Adventure action, that's like the most vague terms nowadays. But anyways, that takes you to a whole new world at the turn of the 17th century, and the year is 1604. Now, this seems kind of rooted in reality, except there's going to be freaking skeletons and ghosts and stuff. I don't know. You sailed from England expecting to join a struggling colony on the coast of Virginia. Instead, you find only ghosts and mysteries and what catastrophe blinded the land and drained it of, you know, life and stuff. So anyways, yeah, I mean, stylistically, it looks very interesting. It seems like it goes from black and white and red, a little bit kind of monochromatic. It looks interesting, very RPG-ish. Maybe like a little mini kind of, you know, I mean, I don't want to relate it to Skyrim, but you know what I mean. Like one of those type of games, sort of like exploration-based, but still some interesting combat maybe. It's got some guns. Well, I mean, a little bit of guns, some bows, some melee combat. Seems interesting. It seems at least worthwhile for $1.24 at 75% off. Betrayer graphically doesn't look like $1 game, so hey, it's worth a shot. And ladies and gentlemen, moving right through the list that we have here, I want to talk about a game called Orbital Gear. I've put this in a few top 10s, put it in a top 10 2D arena shooter list. I put it, I think, in one of my sales lists as well, because last year it went on sale for the same amount. But Orbital Gear is 90% off, so it used to be $10, and you can now get it for 99 cents. Orbital Gear is one of the most intense and hard just arena shooters. It's very complex. The idea is that there's these floating planetoids, these orbs, and your character gravitates towards them, like literally. And the whole idea is that there's like these gravity, and you kind of like satellite and fling and slingshot yourself around these different maps because there's multiple planetoids, and that means there's multiple sources of gravity. And you know, some weapons you can shoot like a rocket and it'll like fly around the planetoid, and you're gonna do that, and you have like all the kind of usual arena shooter like weapons, and it just is an aim-based, like fast-paced, complex, mobility-based arena shooter, just like you would expect in 3D arena shooters. And that's what Orbital Gear is, and that's why it's my #1 2D arena shooter, and that's why it's absolutely gonna make this list. At $1, it's definitely worth buying, maybe for you and some friends, and just have a blast. Okay, friendos, let's talk about a game called Insurgency. Now, I actually was one of the first people to ever cover this game over at Attack Gaming, and it was unassuming, really, then. But when you actually get into this game, what seemingly starts out as something that's in between, you know, I mean, it's not quite Rainbow Six Siege, you know, it's not as big and out there. It came out before that, though. And it's not quite Arma, right? And it's not quite Call of Duty, and it's not Battlefield, but it's somewhere in between and does a lot of really unique little tiny tweaks that makes things really, really fun. Now, it's not small team battle, it's more a big team battle, but the maps are still kind of contained, and it's really more tactical, and in the way you actually control your character, the way the freaking scopes actually are utilizing it, and the way it works, and the aesthetic of the game, and the graphics, and like every small little, it's really just a bunch of small little things that really make this game feel very tactile and very real and very fun. Now, you're not going to have the uproarious gadgets like you do in Rainbow Six Siege, I admit that, but at the same time, it's not going to be as ridiculous as Call of Duty. It's somewhere in between, more tame, I'll have to admit, but I think the niche audience that really wants something that's not quite super complicated and massive and honestly very slow paced like Arma, but you want something in between everything else, that's Insurgency at 85% off for $1.49. It's a must buy. Also, there is a great deal of mods that have been introduced into the game too that could be very fun. Right, friends, let's move on. We have a game called Polarity. This is going to be another one of those, you know, like kind of cheapy, you know, 3D. Well, I mean, literally it's 69 cents, 90% off. Puzzle games, right? So I think these kind of had a boom, especially after Portal came out. I know I had one, it was like called Chroma Gun that I personally purchased, and there's a few on this list as well, of course, you know, like the first ones I talked about. So this is going to be another one of those. Now, whether the puzzles, you know, get your gears turning or not, whether you enjoy the sort of aesthetic, that's up to you. But for, you know, 69 cents, right? It's 90% off. We can hope that there's going to be a decent amount of content. The reviews are very favorable, and these are kind of the games that like anybody probably could pick up actually and just kind of have fun with some puzzles. I love puzzle games. I mean, they're really popular actually if you go in Barnes and Noble, the little puzzles. I love those things, little 3D puzzles. So yeah, I love puzzles and riddles and things like that, and these little cheap games, it's really easy to get into. Even if I don't love it, hey, at least I'll have a good time, and that's what I think. You know, I think most people actually could probably appreciate this at least a little bit. But next up, let's get a game that's a little bit faster paced, shall we? So we have a game called GURGAMOTH. Now, GURGAMOTH is a flying fighting game. It's where the level's actually kind of like your weapon. Each match is lightning quick. It focuses on intense flying combat and getting your opponent's head. And the controls are simple, but the mechanics and remember, the levels, interesting level design really bring out the game's depth. Not many people bought this game. Okay, not many people bought it, but me as a fanatic for, you know, party games, I think that this looks just aesthetically, the graphics looks extremely polished. I feel like more than 29 reviews should exist for this game, which apparently is very new. I love party games. I love brawler party games. You fly around, you try to get your opponents. It's just a great deal of fun. Now, I don't know how many mini games is actually included in this. Generally, party games have a number of mini games, but still, at 50 cents or 49 cents, 90% off, this seems to be a very interesting game that just has a level of polish that I'm not used to actually seeing in these type of games. So please check it out. Coming up next on our list, we have a twofer, which is actually not from the same developers, not from the same publishers. They're just two games that are similar, but so very freaking weird. First off, we have the more popular Haunt the House TERRORTOWN, which is now just $1. It's 80% off. And if you're kind of weary on this game, because it is very weird, it's about scaring people as a cute ghost and possessing different things and just corralling humans away, and it is very strange, then you're going to want to actually try out their flash demo online. But I can vouch that this game is pretty cool. Now, The Dweller is another game I want to talk about. This is kind of the similar game. You want to scare and corral humans humans, but you're also going to kind of freaking devour them. They're both very unique puzzle games in the way they are played mechanically. The Dweller is 90% off at 50 cents, but the Dweller is a little bit more morbid, a little bit hardcore, and maybe even more significantly niche, but it has some interesting puzzle mechanics in itself. So these two games, very unique games. I had to put them both on here. Even though they're not comboed or anything, I think it's worth here and stuffing them in the same slot for a top 10. Hopefully you appreciate it. Hopefully you can find one of these that you can pick and try out, because there's not many other games like this. And finally, we are at our final. Hopefully you've been enjoying the list so far, but this is the must-buy of the list, and that is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons at 90% off for $1.49. This is a game that is critically acclaimed. It is extremely popular. It is just known as a good game. And at 90% off, no matter how brief this game might be, which I can see why some people wouldn't buy it full price, because, hour to entertainment ratio or whatever scale you use, at $1.49, this is 100% a must-buy. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is a game where you use one controller to control two different characters. Now, I heard you can also play co-op. I never tested that myself. I guess you could maybe hold the controller with two people or something. I don't know. But anyways, this is an interesting game that I think everybody should probably try. And if you don't believe me, then just look at its reviews and its awards and everybody else talking about it. It's simple as that. $1.49, this is the game you're buying. Anyways, friends and family, that's the end of the list. I know a lot of these games are gimmicky, but I think they are probably worth trying at that extremely low price points. And a lot of them are brief, but again, the dollar to hour ratio of entertainment is absolutely worth here. So hopefully you find at least one game that you will enjoy. And if you did, please give the video a like and subscribe. Click the bell for a tell whenever I go live and upload videos. I just want to say thanks to my donators, thanks to my patrons, and to those who have been gifting me games to try and review and play and just have fun with. Thanks so much. This whole thing, everything about this is all about having fun and playing together. And I'm so glad you guys are here with me, playing together with me. It's been a blast, guys, and I hope you had fun. My name's Skylent, and I'll see you in the next one.